Welcome everybody, Film Fan 108, to my Blu-ray pickup video for August of 2019. And I have a pretty good size stack to talk to you guys about this time around. So let's get to it, shall we, with the first title that I picked up for the month, and that is none other than 16 Candles right here from Arrow UK with this really great artwork, man. One of the iconic scenes at the end of the movie. Really, really great. I love that so much. You get that artwork, and on the inside here, you also get this art here, which I don't know whether this was ever a theatrical art or not. I don't believe it ever was, but maybe there was different artwork that came out in other countries that this was, but very interesting, unique artwork that I've never seen before. You also have that, and on the inside here, you also get a booklet talking about the movie as well, and you get certain articles and pictures and everything about the making of the movie as well. Arrow is always really good at their packaging and putting stuff together, and this is certainly no exception, guys. But let's get into the movie, shall we? Because I really like this movie, man. I really honestly do. This is quintessential 80s. This is quintessential teen comedy territory. And it's a really great story about this girl, Samantha, and it's her sort of, Sweet 16, and it seems like everybody has forgotten her. Everyone's forgotten her birthday. No one remembers. She's pining for this guy at school, and he doesn't even recognize her and doesn't even think she exists. And on top of that, she has this kid who is kind of wants her and is into her, and he's really nerdy and she is not into that whatsoever. And just the wacky adventures that she gets into and the parties she goes to and trying to pine for this boy and have him recognize her, and it's just so great. It's just a great slice of 80s teen culture and the comedy of the time. And I mean, you get really great people in here. You get, Molly Ringwald, who in the 80s, she was like one of the 80s goddesses. I mean, she was really awesome back in the day, guys. She really honestly was. You get Anthony Michael Hall here, who is funny as hell, man. I mean, he is absolutely fucking hilarious in this movie, guys. He really honestly is. And you get a lot of really great, interesting, smaller roles here for people. Like John Cusack is in here, Joan Cusack, a bunch of other sort of people who sort of were sort of picking themselves up in the 80s and would sort of become household names over time. It's a really great and fascinating movie just for somebody like even John Hughes at the time, because this was John Hughes' first directorial debut. He had been writing stuff for studios, but this was the first time he actually got to direct a movie. And I mean, it's very fascinating because from the special features, it's like he got to do his thing. I mean, yes, he got better as a filmmaker and he got to be more bolder and have more of his voice, but you could tell that this is a John Hughes movie. You could tell it. It has the John Hughes feel to it. And even though this was his first time directing, his influence and everything is all over this movie. And even the first time directing this, it's almost like he knew what he wanted. He had it all in his head. And I appreciate that as a filmmaker. And somebody like John Hughes, who, I think I think we look back at some of these 80s movies and think, oh man, they're really corny and, they're not that great anymore. I think they're still relevant to this day. Maybe some of the language has changed and maybe, people don't dress that way anymore or maybe act that way, but still the emotions are still there the same way that they were back in the day. Some of the stereotypes are honestly even the same too. Maybe the way we look at things are differently, but those stereotypes are still there. I like how he brought his own sense of comedy and flavor to this movie, and I appreciate John Hughes incredibly, man. And seeing this come out from Arrow is absolutely perfection, guys. And it's a great movie. This is actually an upgrade. I did have the DVD, but when Arrow announced this, I was gonna buy this regardless, guys. Now this is a UK only edition, so you cannot play it in a regular Blu-ray player. It has to be in a region-free player. But guys, quite honestly, if you guys have not gotten up on a region-free player, please do it, because these releases that these companies put out just in the UK, like Arrow and some of these other people, like 88 Films, they're great releases, man. And I don't want you guys to miss out on this stuff. So you really do need a region-free player, because some of these titles like this are pure perfection, and they're so much better than some of the US releases that come out, guys. Really, honestly, they are. And Arrow gave it the love it deserved, honestly, guys. I mean, you get here so much great stuff. You get an alternate home video soundtrack prepared for VHS and Laserdisc releases, which is very interesting, because what I found out is that some of the music that was theatrically put out for this movie was not on future releases, was not on the VHS release, nor was it on the Laserdisc release and some of the DVD stuff. And slowly it actually got back on the regular edition, but for a while it wasn't, and I didn't even know that, so that was really fascinating. You have an all-new audio interview with the casting director. You have, a newly filmed conversation between a couple of the actors. You have an interview with one of the supporting actors. You have an interview with the camera operator. Another filmmaker, Adam Rifkin, talking about how he shadowed John Hughes during this movie, how he was in it. They actually show him in little bits and pieces of the movie, and how he actually learned from John Hughes on this one, and how he gained a lot of knowledge from it. Very fascinating stuff here. You get a lot of the old school featurettes as well on previous releases as well, archival documentaries, theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, image galleries, and so much more. This is a fantastic release, guys, and honestly, I think sort of 16 Candles has got kind of shortchanged in the U.S. a little bit. I don't think it's gotten the love that I think it really deserves, and I thought this was going to come out from Criterion, and maybe in the future it might. But for right now, I'm really happy with the Arrow edition, and it might be the only edition that I'll buy. If you guys really love 16 Candles and really love John Hughes, definitely pick this one up. And if you have a region-free player, why not give this a chance? You guys know Arrow Video always does a great job with their releases, and this is no exception, guys. Definitely check it out. And if you haven't watched it yet, this is a great slice of 80s and a great teen comedy. 16 Candles. Then the next title I picked up is a new release, and it's one that I really enjoyed in the theater, man. Really honestly did. And that is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And I actually have the Best Buy Steelbook edition right here, guys. And this is really great art here. I really like this art. I liked it better than the actual art that was on the regular edition. I really like that art quite a bit, man. And on the back side, you have Pikachu himself right here. Oh, fantastic, man. Fantastic. And I'll kind of show you the inside as well, guys. You have the inside art that has Justice Smith and Pikachu right there. Very cool. And on the other side here, all you really get on the other side, I think, is you get... Yeah, you just have basically this here, which is pretty much blank, but, it's not bad, though. But this movie, guys, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, because when the trailers first came out, I was ready to groan. Honestly, I was really, really ready to groan, because I'm like, oh god, the Pokemon movie? Really? I just thought, okay, I mean, I want to go see it, but I just don't know if it's gonna be worth it. And I left the theater after seeing this movie blown away. I was like, I loved the characters. I love this sort of sci-fi futuristic Pokemon world. I just loved it, and I loved delving into it. And I thought, Pokemon was kind of a joke, because when I grew up, Pokemon kind of passed me by a little bit. I was more of Magic the Gathering, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, He-Man. I was that kind of person. I was not Pokemon. And Pokemon passed me by. I never understood the love for it. I never understood why people really like this series. I thought to myself, oh god, this is really gonna be rough. And truth be told, I didn't watch any of the other animated movies. I've never watched the animated series. I really knew nothing about Pokemon going into this. And I just love this world, and I didn't think I would until I gave it a chance, and then I really enjoyed it, guys. I really honestly did. Basically, it's about this guy whose father is potentially dead, and there's a mystery surrounding his death and what went down, and he has to sort of. This is sort of like a murder mystery type of movie, wrapped in a Pokemon story, and his his father's Pokemon, Pikachu, have to go and sort of solve this and solve the mystery and find out what's really going on with all of this. And I just love this, man. I thought the comedy was great here. I thought the CGI of all the Pokemon, I loved all of the designs of them, really incredibly creative. I thought the characters were likable. I liked following them. I really liked Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu. When Ryan Reynolds was announced for it, I thought that was a really weird casting, man. Putting Ryan Reynolds in here, man. And Ryan Reynolds pulled it off. I like his humor. He's not going like rated R Ryan Reynolds. He's a little edgy, but he's not over the top edgy. I think he reins it in a little bit. I liked his performance here. Like I said, I like the story, I like the designs, I like that world of Pokemon and that futuristic sci-fi aspect. It reminded me of times like Blade Runner, which I was not expecting. I was like, really, this is going to remind me of Blade Runner, but it really did, guys. I thought this was just such a brilliant and unique and very very interesting movie, especially for a guy who does not know anything about Pokemon. If you guys know about Pokemon, then this movie probably was right up your alley. But for me, I went into it completely blind, and I was really, really happy, man. Honestly, I was. I hope this movie did well enough to get a sequel. I heard it's possibly going to. I would definitely watch it, man. I just was fascinated, and I just loved every minute of it. It definitely makes me want to watch other Pokemon things and get into the world of it for sure, guys. But this is great, and this Best Buy Steelbook is really awesome here, and it comes with some really cool features. Um, Sort of deleted and alternate scenes. It comes with a bunch of featurettes really talking about the casting, talking about the CGI effects, talking about Ryan Reynolds being in this film, talking about the elements of how they got this movie made and what they wanted to accomplish with the movie. Some cool featurettes there as well, on top of a couple other things. And I didn't even tell you guys that basically it also comes with some Pokemon cards, which honestly, I don't know if I'm ever really gonna open. I kind of like to keep them closed, but I heard there's some actually cool cards in here, but I don't really know. But it's kind of cool, actually. I will admit, guys, that you know what? This really surprised me in a big bad way. And for me, I think that, uh, sometimes I'm a little bit like not sure about a movie, and sometimes I go into movies being like a little hesitant because I don't know how they're gonna be. And I think movies like the Pokemon Detective Pikachu really prove the point that you really have to give movies a chance because, yeah, the trailers might be a little rough, or yeah, you might not really care about, this whole Pokemon world, but if you go in and you give something a chance, even if you didn't like it, at least you experienced it and you can go and say, hey man, I gave it a chance regardless. And I'm so glad I gave this a chance because I really ended up liking it quite a bit. Enough to put it in the collection for sure, guys. If you're a fan of Pokemon, I already know this is right up your alley. And if you're not, definitely give it a chance because I think the sci-fi aspects are really cool and the characters and everything I thought were really dynamic, really interesting. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit, guys. Definitely give it a chance. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. And the next pickup that I got, guys, was a collector's edition from Scream Factory, and that is none other than Vice Squad right here. Yeah, with this really great artwork, man. Very colorful, very vibrant. I really like this art from Scream Factory. I can't say I like every artwork from Scream Factory, but this one I like quite a bit, guys. Very nice. And then on the inside, you get the theatrical art as well there. Very cool. Nice. Now, truth be told, guys, I had never heard of Vice Squad. Not even a little bit. Never heard of it. And the reason why I picked it up was that when this got announced from Scream Factory, there was a ton of people on Blu-ray.com that were like, "Oh my God, Vice Squad! I can't believe they're releasing it. That is so awesome. It's a great movie." And I'm like, beats the hell out of me. I've never seen it before. But I watched the trailer and I really liked it, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna give this one a chance, and I'm really glad I did because it's a really, really great movie. Basically about this woman named Princess who is a single mom by day and she is a hooker by night. I guess she's got to pay the bill somehow, guys. I mean, I guess she could work at McDonald's, but being a hooker pays more money. Come on. But she's doing that, and out there on the streets is this pimp who is really sadistic and evil, and she eventually gets caught in the crosshairs with him. And what ends up happening is that the police are trying to find this guy. He's trying to basically find Princess and kill her. She's trying to survive the night, and it's this whole like just triangle of like just survival. And I thought it was really great, guys. I really honestly did. I thought this was a fucking phenomenal movie, man. I love the characters here. I love the grittiness and the griminess of the streets, sort of the neon lights, and I just love this cat and mouse game back and forth. I thought it was really awesome here, and I got to admit, Wings Hauser, who is in this, he plays Ramrod, and Ramrod, oh my God, man, talk about one just sort of brutal and evil and messed up dude, man. This guy will do anything to get to his target. He doesn't care who he kills. He doesn't care who he has to get through, who he has to screw, who has to run down. He does not give two shits about it, guys. He is one hell of just a beast of a character. And Wings Hauser plays him so brilliantly, man. Ramrod is just really just one of those characters that is like he's like just a linebacker, man. He's just gonna come at you like just crazy, dude. He does not care one way. He will get through you, man. I thought it was really great, man. I loved the violence here. I loved, just the tenseness of it. You're watching this and you're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna catch her? Is she gonna survive? Like, you just are on the edge of your seat, dude. And I really love this movie so much, man. I thought it was really dynamic and wonderful, and I'm surprised I hadn't heard about it since. I wish I did, man. But sometimes it's kind of cool to find these little gems, and Vice Squad is definitely one of them, guys. It's a great slice of back in the day, man. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I honestly did, guys. And Scream Factory definitely gave it the love that it deserved. I mean, you get here a 4K scan of the original film elements. You get a new audio commentary with the director and the producer. And it's a nice, really great back and forth of them talking about the making of the movie and sort of the approach that they made to it versus other films, and sort of how they came together as a director-producer team. And it's very, very interesting audio commentary. You get new interviews with the director, with the producer, with a couple of the main actors here, a new location feature as looking at the locations from back in the day versus now, the old audio commentary, theatrical trailer, TV spots, radio spots, and still gallery. Quite a bit of stuff here. Scream Factory definitely gave it the love for sure, and it's a really great, dynamic, gritty, dirty style sort of prostitution film. You don't really see anybody get naked really too much, but I like sort of the situations that go on. As I said, I like the violence. I like the comedy to it too. The comedy is very cool with her being a hooker and sort of her different clients, and one is like trying to like pay her to scare her, and other ones wanting to suck her toes, and it's like some really sick and messed up individuals, man. But it's just a really fun and tense and gritty film that I really did enjoy. And yeah, if you're willing to give a movie a chance, definitely give Vice Squad a chance, guys. I think it's pretty darn good. Not bad at all. Vice Squad. Then the next title that I picked up, guys, is another Arrow Video title, and I was very curious to pick this one up, and this one has gotten a lot of controversy towards it, And I can definitely see why. And that is Cruising right here from Arrow Video. And now you get this art here, and then on the inside here, you get this art right here. Now, this is not the theatrical art, and I'll sort of get to that later on, why we kind of have that. But you also here get, as they usually do quite well, Arrow does, you get a booklet right here. And on the back side here, basically you get pictures and articles talking about the movie and the making of it and everything like that. Always really good from Arrow Video as usual, guys. And I had never seen Cruising. Now, I had heard of Cruising, but it was nothing that I ever saw. And to be honest with you, it was it's a movie that I don't think I ever really thought of having any interest in watching. I was kind of like, oh, okay. I've heard okay things about it, but I don't really know if I have to watch the movie. But when it got announced, I think a lot of people were really excited about the movie coming out, especially Arrow doing it. So I thought, okay, this is an opportunity to really do something interesting here. So I'm gonna definitely give it a chance. And I thought this was a really amazing and fantastic movie, dude. I am so shocked I have not seen this before now. I mean, I was so really shocked, man. Basically, it's about this person who is killing these gay men, taking them home and killing them and just stabbing them to death. And this killer of gay guys, and they want to know who's doing it, and they can stop them. And they recruit Al Pacino, who is just a regular police officer, and they say, hey, if you do this, you will become a detective. You've got to go undercover here. You have to go into this gay world, and you have to do things that you might be uncomfortable doing, but this is what's got to be done in order to catch this killer. And he's like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this, man. And I thought this was fucking brilliant, dude. Al Pacino is amazing here, man. He is great, dude. He is somebody who is willing to do the job, but yet very nervous. You can tell in certain scenes where he feels very uncomfortable in things, and that's just a great performance of Al Pacino and how he has to slowly delve into this world and slowly do things that he might not want to do. I like the reluctance of the character. I like how he suddenly has to just embrace things that maybe it might go a little far, but he's got to do it. And I like that aspect to it. I like the directing here. I like the characters. I like how you see certain people here and you don't know who the killer is. You don't know what's going on. Any one of these people can be it. And you're on the hunt for the killer just like Al Pacino is, and I like that aspect of it, dude. I thought the acting here was brilliant. I like the way the film is shot. I like the scenarios that these people have to deal with and the mystery aspects of it. And this movie is directed by William Friedkin. Now, William Friedkin is a brilliant director, dude. And I mean, William Friedkin, of course, did The Exorcist. Of course, he's brilliant. But it's not only that, but he did movies like The French Connection as well. And I mean, he's just a really great director. And this movie was a challenge for him because I believe it came from a book, if I'm not mistaken, and also a real life story of how somebody really did have to catch a killer and how they had to go into the gay scene and everything. So he wanted to get the accuracy right. He wanted to yet do his own thing, but yet be true to the story. I liked William Friedkin's directing here. I think William Friedkin is very bold here as a director. He goes for it. Look, I'm not gonna lie. There are scenes here where you do get a little uncomfortable, man. You really do. You get a little bit out of your element. And you have to just go with it, dude. And you're in the hands of a filmmaker who's gonna make you feel certain things, and he definitely does. I will say this much. This film was done in the 80s. And the sort of gay culture and everything obviously has changed since then, and It's very interesting going through back doors and going through sort of this private, club, and only certain people can get in, and how you're seeing a lot of very sexual stuff in this movie, and how it may portray gay people, versus nowadays. There's a lot of controversy with this film, man. There honestly is, and there was controversy back in the day with this film, and there's controversy now. And, truth be told, no matter what decade you would have made this film in, it was going to be controversial no matter what. But I think they made it at a time when it was very underground, the gay culture. Not only that, but you had the scare of AIDS coming in, and these diseases, and how it was affecting the culture and people's opinions of gay people. And I think William Friedkin didn't make this movie to offend gay people or anything. He made it as an embrace of the culture and something that he really wanted to sort of be true to it. And they went into gay clubs. A lot of the extras in these gay clubs, they're not actors. They're real people. And it's very fascinating, man. It's very fascinating to sort of, see this gay community embrace this film, and on the one hand, hear about stories of how some of the gay culture didn't do it, and how people were picketing the film. And it's a very fascinating movie. It really is. And I will also say this: if spoiler alert here if you haven't watched the movie before, but at the end of the movie, you kind of catch the killer, but not really, because there's a possibility of other people being the killers as well. And is it unsatisfying? I don't think it's unsatisfying. I left the film not unsatisfied. There's certain times when I want mysteries to be resolved, and other times where I'm okay with things letting things go a little bit. And this time I was fine with it. There's hints at other people that could have been the killers. There's other ideas, and maybe how he shot certain scenes. You can kind of maybe tell who's the killer in scenes and who's not. I still like the mystery aspect. I didn't leave disappointed or unsatisfied. I still really enjoyed the movie and thought it was incredibly dynamic. Some people might feel differently, but I certainly really enjoyed it, man. And Arrow Video here, this was a controversial release because, unfortunately, Arrow Video couldn't do what they wanted to do with this release. And what I mean by that is that their hands were tied basically by the studio that they got the movie from. They couldn't put the theatrical artwork on. They couldn't do new artwork that they wanted to. They were bound as far as doing a lot of special features because they wanted to do like documentaries, they wanted to do more interviews. They couldn't do anything. There was talk of William Friedkin not wanting to do extras for this movie, and how he was kind of blocking Arrow a little bit. There was pushback from William Friedkin. There was pushback from Arrow. At one point, this release might not have even come out. I'm glad it came out. I'm glad it's out there for people to check out. And even if we didn't get a lot of great special features here, which we still do, it's great to see the film come out in this quality and Arrow giving the love that it truly deserves. Now, you do get a brand new restoration from a 4K scan. The film looks great, I'm not gonna lie, man. You also get here a brand new audio commentary with William Friedkin and broadcaster Mark Kermode. This is a really fascinating audio commentary because Friedkin really talks about his love for the project, what he wanted to do, the films that he did before, and how he got into this film, and how the ratings board really just wanted to sort of butcher him on this movie, and how he wouldn't let him, and how he fought sort of people who thought he was hating on the gay culture and everything. Very fascinating stuff here. You get the archival audio commentary as well from William Friedkin. You get the history of cruising, an archival featurette looking at the film's origins and productions, exercising cruising, archival featurette looking at the controversy surrounding the film and its enduring legacy, and original theatrical trailer. I thought it was really fantastic featurettes. We get old school stuff, we don't get a lot of new stuff, but I still thought it was really dynamic, guys. And the one thing I thought was really dynamic here, I just wanted to say, is that there's a point in the featurettes where William Friedkin talks about how he wanted Richard Gere for this role, and he did not want Al Pacino. He wanted Richard Gere, and he still thinks Richard Gere would have been great in this movie. But he felt like, because Al Pacino was a big star at the time and he was huge from Godfather and everything, that it would get the movie made, and it did. And Al Pacino is still great here, guys. The movie is still awesome. It's so worth checking out, guys. It's a very controversial film, but I think it's a fascinating film to watch, and I think you guys would really honestly enjoy it. Honestly, definitely give this one a chance. Arrow Video gave it the love it deserved, and it's well worth your time. Honestly, give it a chance, guys. Cruising. And the next title that I got, guys, well, if I didn't pick it up, I think you guys would think I'm a little bit crazy, and I would think I'm a little bit nutty too. But thankfully, I did pick it up, and it's definitely a worthy one in the collection for sure, especially if you're a Marvel fan, and that is Avengers Endgame, baby, the 4K Blu-ray and digital cinematic universe edition right here with that really awesome artwork, man. Really love that artwork quite a bit, guys. So awesome and fascinating, man. I love it. Yeah, man. Kick-ass, badass, cinematic action right there, man. And this was, and it will be, one of the most highly anticipated movies of 2019. I think everyone was looking forward to it because I think the question became, will they drop the ball? Because it's one thing to do Infinity War, because Infinity War was absolutely amazing. It was so awesome of a movie, and you had such a great villain in Thanos and a great story, and the ending of Infinity War when a lot of these heroes turned to dust, I think a lot of us were taken a backseat by it, because I think a lot of us were like, what in the hell is the Avengers going to do? What is going to happen next? Because I think a lot of people were like, wait a minute, how is this going to work? And, no spoilers for Avengers Endgame, because I won't do it, but I thought that what they did was absolutely brilliant, man. I was not expecting where the story was going. I thought that it was really incredibly well done. I thought the story was really great here. I loved how the characters grew. I loved how they matured. I love how they changed and you saw the differences. I love the directions that the story took and where certain characters ended up and how certain plot lines got resolved. I really thought it was amazing. It was one of the most best times in the movie theater that I will have for quite a long time, guys, because people in the movie theater were like cheering and they were clapping and they were just in disbelief when certain things happened, and it was like this roller coaster of a ride that everybody was on, and nobody was checking their phone, and nobody was, like talking during certain scenes. Like, everybody was engaged with this movie, and you don't get that very often anymore. And I thought that this movie did such a brilliant job, man. It really honestly did. This is the last go around for certain characters, and I'm gonna miss some of these people like crazy. I really am. It was emotional at times. It was a thrill ride at others. I was incredibly excited. I cheered when things happened. I applauded it. This is a great cinematic experience. It really is. It's the culmination of all of these films, of 10 years of a cinematic journey that the Marvel franchise has went through with all of these characters, and it plays it off in such a satisfying way, guys. It really does. It's such a satisfying ending, and it's a satisfying film for all of the rest of the movies that have come before it. And it also sets up things for the future of where the Marvel Cinematic Journey can go next. I really just love this film so much, man. And because for me, I think when you go through a journey like this, when you go through a journey of 10 years worth of seeing all these movies, you want all of it to pay off because you feel that if it doesn't pay off, then you're going to be really pissed, man. And I'm so happy that it paid off because it makes the journey now even more worth it. And so I am so happy, and as a fan of these Marvel movies, it really warmed my heart to know that they got it right, and they really did, honestly. So brilliant, so amazing, guys. I can't say enough high regards about Avengers Endgame. I really can't. I think it's absolutely amazing. Stunning movie, and just all around a really excellent journey for sure. It really is. And I gotta admit that they certainly gave it the love it deserved. You get here an audio commentary, and I really love the Russo brothers and the writers really talking about this movie because they really go out of their way to really talk about certain things and the process of making it and how they were very understanding of how the films have to be connected and what they did with Infinity War and everything like that. It's a really great audio commentary. You also get here deleted scenes, you get gag reel, you get certain featurettes talking about the story, talking about certain characters and how certain people really brought this whole world to life, like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson, and it's a really cool featurette that you get here as well. We could have gotten a little bit more, but I'm really happy with what we got, guys. It's a really great movie, and it's really good. The picture quality is dynamic as well. I really love it as well. So this is really awesome, guys. Avengers Endgame. But that is not it, guys, because I did not just get this version. You guys are gonna wonder what else version I got. Well, I also got Bam, baby, yeah. I also got the exclusive Best Buy Steelbook because let me tell you something. I think this Steelbook is completely sold out. They had a ton of copies at my Best Buy, and after a week, there was only a few left, and now those are gone. So let me tell you something. This Steelbook is now probably completely sold out, and will probably go for big money on eBay. I'm so happy that I picked this up. I was just gonna get this edition. But I'm so glad I picked this up as well because let me tell you something. This is very well worth it, guys. This edition, as you can see, the artwork right here, man. Ah, so awesome, that artwork. I love that. And on the other side here, I love sort of the A sort of disintegrating and some of the Marvel characters that were lost in the last film. I really love this steelbook, man. This steelbook is so freaking cool, dude. I really love this. And on the inside here, I'll show you the inside here. You get Robert Downey on this one side here, which is really cool. You get him. And on the other side, you also get, let me show you here, guys, really cool. You also get here Scarlett Johansson on this side also. Really cool, man. That's really awesome, dude. It's a really, honestly, a really great steelbook, and I'm so happy I got it because, like I said, I was only gonna get the one edition, and then I'm sitting there the week of the release and thinking to myself, God, should I get the other edition too? And I'm so happy I did, man. I'm really happy. This edition is cool. This edition is great. And I've never gotten two editions of a Marvel movie before, especially in steelbook form, but I had to do it, guys. This was too good to pass up. It really, honestly was. And honestly, guys, where can the Marvel Cinematic Journey go next? Where does Phase 4 go? They announced a lot of the Phase 4 titles. We know we're getting, Black Widow. We know we're getting Shang-Chi and the Eternals and we're getting all of these Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, and we know where it's gonna go. Is it gonna be worth it? There's a lot of build up that Marvel's gonna have to do next, and there's a lot of story that they're gonna have to reintroduce people and bring new characters to the forefront. Is it gonna work? That's a tough thing. I mean, definitely let me know what you guys think. Is it gonna work, or do you think that the Avengers Endgame is the peak of the mountain and they can't go any higher? I think they can go higher. I think they can still succeed, but it's going to take them a while to build this whole universe back up again. But I can't wait to see what they do next, guys. But this and the 10-year journey has been really well worth it, guys. And I am so happy to get this, guys. If you have not checked out any of the Marvel movies, definitely do it. And if you haven't picked up Avengers Endgame, definitely do it, guys. Not half bad at all. Avengers Endgame. And the next pickup that I got was a release from Vinegar Syndrome, and that is none other than Hell Comes to Frogtown, baby. Yeah, look at this. Look at this art, man. That's really great art, man. I love that art so much, guys. That's really cool. And on the back side, you also get some more different style art as well. Oh, really cool, man. Really cool as well. You see sort of the spine there as well. But what's even cooler about this release, guys, is that how it opens up. So you have the artwork and everything, and bam, look at that. So this comes off, and then you get sort of the art in orange right there. And it's the same on the back side as well, the same art and everything, just orange. Really, really cool, man. This is really great packaging from Vinegar Syndrome, man. They went all out for this thing, brother. And it's great by far, dude. Really, really cool. And the disc and everything, all the artwork comes out, and you get the same artwork on the inside as well here. You either pick this art, or you can also pick the other art as well. So it's one or the other, but both are really kick-ass art, so whichever one you pick, honestly, you really can't go wrong, man. So that's really cool, man. Honestly, oh, so cool, dude. And goes back in, and then right like that. Not bad, man. Very, very cool here. Now, I had heard of the title, Hell Comes to Frogtown, but I had never actually seen the movie. I knew Roddy Piper was in a movie called Hell Comes to Frogtown, but I had never ventured out to actually watch it. And I don't even really know why. It just never really happened, I guess. But when Vinegar Syndrome announced this, I think a lot of people were really excited because it's one of those sort of niche cult movies that was eventually going to get some sort of really great treatment by one of these independent labels eventually. And I think with Vinegar Syndrome doing it, I think a lot of people really felt like it was in really good hands. So I immediately was like, I'm going to pick this up just out of curiosity because I love Roddy Piper. I think he was a fantastic personality as far as a wrestler, and just a personality as a person, and a warm, kind-hearted guy. And I was really interested to see him in this movie, especially after reading the synopsis and what the movie's about. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to give this a chance. And the movie, oh god, this is a really interesting movie, man. Oh boy. This movie is basically, there was sort of a nuclear war that happened. And bombs were dropped, and many years later, there's still fallout from it, and the government is trying to, get the world back to the way it used to be. But the problem is that most men are not fertile. They can still do the business, but they can't exactly, actually finish the job. Uh, so there's only a few men out there who actually still have the spunk to actually get the job done. I'm sorry, I just had to say it. But, and one of those people is Roddy Piper. And they treat these men like they're gold, basically. Because if they are able to get these females pregnant, then then they are worth their weight in gold, then they are extremely special, and they have to protect these people at all costs, especially the females, because not every female is fertile, and if a female is fertile, then they definitely have to go out of their way to not only protect the females, but protect the men as well, and they have to get the men and the females together so the females can get pregnant, and they're creating a new society and a new army, and people like Roddy Piper are extremely important. And basically, he gets caught and he ends up getting joined into this military operation to go into Frogtown in order to rescue these females and impregnate them. And it's his journey that he goes on with these two female officers who are extremely gorgeous, and sort of this adventure that they go on. And by the way, also going into Frogtown, what happened with the nuclear war is that these frogs and all these other people, they turned like they're now actual huge. They're huge, giant, human beings, but yet they're in frog form, and they don't like the government, and they're fighting against them, and possibly creating a war against them. And so they're going into this place that has these mutant frogs in it, and very, very weird and bizarre and fucked up movie, guys. And it could almost be a porno, to be honest with you. It could almost really be a porno in a lot of ways, because it has porno elements, it has a lot of nakedness in it, and just the whole idea of the movie having to have sex with these women in order to impregnate them, that could literally be something you could see on late night Cinemax. I mean, really, it literally could, guys. But I thought there was a lot of charm with this movie. I honestly did. I thought Roddy Piper has charm for days on end, man. He is so awesome in this movie. He's funny, he's charismatic, he carries a scene that he's in. He has presence to him that it clearly shows in this movie. It's so really well done here, and I love all of the actors and actresses in here. They're playing it up for laughs. They're playing it up for the B movie that it is, and they know it is. And I thought the creature effects with the frogs were really cool. I like the design of the sort of human mutated frogs. I love that so much. I liked sort of the funny aspect of the fact that Roddy Piper has to wear this sort of chastity belt that is basically issued by the government, and there's sort of this tracker that basically shocks his dick. It shocks his dick, or if he gets too far away from one of the army people, it starts to beep, and it could possibly explode, and he's got to get back before his junk literally explodes into pieces. And it's funny. It's funny, and it's engaging, and it's weird, and it's ridiculous, and it's over the top, and it's got a lot of B-movie charm to it. And I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie, guys. I really honestly did. I think this thing is hilarious. I had a ball watching this movie, man. I really did. I had one hell of a fun time, dude. Now, I had one of my friends also buy this as well because he was interested in it, and he saw the movie, and he didn't really like it, guys. And that's okay. That's okay if he didn't like it. This movie is not going to be for everybody, and I realize that. But I grew up watching a lot of weird and odd B movies, and my movie tastes are sometimes a little bit more obscure, and a little bit more leaning towards these B movie type of films. But that's okay because I think this goes right to my alley and my sort of, the way I love movies. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think if you're into sort of ridiculous, over the top, and funny style B movies that sometimes kind of take themselves seriously, but not really, watch Hell Comes to Frogtown, because it really is a fun movie, man. Really, honestly, it's super fun, dude. And Vinegar Syndrome definitely gave it the love it deserved, guys. I mean, you get an audio commentary with the director and the writer-producer, and it's a really great audio commentary. The difference is that the script was versus the movie, working with Roddy Piper, the special effects and everything, really great audio commentary. You get also a video interview with the actual writer, and it's very interesting because he talks about the movie, but he talks about how what he wanted to do with the movie and how he was at first attached as a director and how basically how the studio screwed him over and that they dropped him from the project, and then they made a Hell Comes to Frogtown 2 that he was not involved in, and then there was talk of maybe them doing a TV show at some point, and that he wanted to do it, but they had this lawyer that screwed him over before, and he was going to be involved in it, and they didn't want that, so they scrapped the project. And they're really fascinating tidbits about Hell Comes to Frogtown in this interview, guys. They had that. They have an interview with actually Roddy Piper. Now, this is an old interview because, unfortunately, rest in peace, he's passed away. But he really talks about him as a performer, him as a movie star, and him talking about the movie and the ridiculousness of it, and how sort of fans see him and how people see him, and how he's not the guy that's on the screen that they see. And very fascinating interview with him. And you also get a couple other in interviews. You get one with the FX artist and one of the actors as well. Really fascinating interviews here, guys. You get original theatrical trailer as well and extended scenes. Really great special features for Hell Comes to Frogtown, guys, and such a really great movie, dude. Like, I I almost wish I would have seen the movie earlier, man. I wish I did because it's so awesome, man. I'm so pissed I didn't get to see this earlier, but it's so great, man. I really love this movie, dude. I really did. It's so fun. It's so fantastic. And if you're a fan of Roddy Piper like I am, give the movie a chance. I like his early work more than his later stuff. This is so awesome, dude. It really is. Definitely give it a chance. I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed. I really love the hell out of this movie. I really honestly do. So awesome here. My B movie tastes were definitely satisfied. Hope you guys would be too. Hell comes to Frogtown. Then the next pickup that I got is an upgrade in the collection, and that is the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Stand By Me right here, guys, which has this slipcover here, which I really like this slipcover. And on the inside, it has this artwork as well. Very, very good. I like both of the artworks as well. It's better than some of the DVDs and Blu-rays that have come out, which is sometimes that artwork has been really trash. But I have to admit to you guys that this movie, man, this movie, I always talk about how my mother and my father taped movies on VHS, and when I was older, I would watch them. This is one of those movies. And I watched Stand By Me when I was younger, as sort of a young kid, and I just love this movie, dude. This movie is so awesome. It's such a great coming of age sort of, camaraderie of friends movie. And it's basically just about how these friends hear that there's a dead body in the woods, and they want to go explore it. They want to sort of find this dead body, and they want to report it, and they want to maybe get this reward. And they're going on this adventure. All of them are going on this adventure. All four of them to explore this, and hopefully survive this adventure that they're gonna go on. And I really love this movie, dude. I honestly, the performances here are amazing. Everybody, Jerry O'Connell, Will Wheaton, Corey Feldman, River Phoenix, man. River Phoenix was so awesome in this movie, dude. And watching this movie sort of makes me realize how much I miss River Phoenix, dude. How fantastic of an actor he would still be to this day if he was alive. I miss that dude, man. He was one hell of an actor, one hell of a young actor, which passed away way too soon. Even Kiefer Sutherland here, who plays sort of the bad guy of the piece, he does such an awesome job here, man. It's a really great movie that has a lot of really great laughs and really great camaraderie with the characters. And I love everything about this movie. The friendship. I love the adventure that they go on. I love the story of how, you know, of how one kid, how he lost his brother, and how he's trying to sort of still be relevant in his parents' eyes. Another one who tries to act tough but really isn't. Another one who, who's been beaten down but doesn't really want to show it. Another one who just really loves to eat, and is sort of the one that they sort of take jabs at and poke fun at, and be sort of goofy with at times. I love each of the personalities. I love the dynamics between them. I love the stories that they do in this movie. Like, that whole sequence of, like, the pie contest, like the pie eating contest. When I watched that the first time, I fucking laughed my ass off, dude. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world, man. I love that. I love the seriousness when they find the dead body, and things with like them having the leeches on them, or the whole like train sequence, which I think is really awesome. It's one of the best sort of movies about friendship that I think I will ever see in my life. It's so amazing, guys. It really is, and this is fantastic. You get here a picture-in-picture commentary with director Rob Reiner and actors Will Wheaton and Corey Feldman. Really great audio commentary here, talking about the movie and their experiences. Really great one. You get here Walking the Tracks, the summer of Stand By Me, the regular audio commentary with director Rob Reiner and the Stand By Me music video, plus never before seen deleted and alternate scenes, which is really fantastic. Really great scenes, which I'm so happy are finally realized on this disc, man. I think the 4K looks really cool here. I think it looks really great. The movie is awesome here. It's a great coming-of-age tale. Rob Reiner does an amazing job with this movie. He directs it so well. I love this movie so much. It's an upgrade in the collection, and I'm so happy to keep it in the collection. I love this movie. It's a great coming-of-age tale that I feel everybody should watch this, man. It's not just a great slice of the time that it was made, but it's just a great movie still to this day about friendship and camaraderie and the love of friends, man. I highly recommend this one. You won't be disappointed at all. Stand By Me. And the next pickup that I got, guys, is one of the newer releases and a very unique and interesting musical biopic, and that is Rocket Man! Yeah, baby. Rocket Man here with this really great artwork. I really like the artwork on here where he's like, yeah! Like he's just going on there, dude. I think that's really cool. And, I watched this movie earlier in the year, and I was really interested in wanting to check this movie out because I think Elton John is a really fascinating artist. I've really always loved his music, and I think his music has really survived over the decades. It's instantly recognizable. You can it doesn't matter what decade it was created in. You can literally listen to it and enjoy it no matter what age you are, and no matter what decade you were born in. It just it certain music, I should say, sometimes it gets trapped in a time period, and that's what it is, and that's all it's known for. With Elton John's music, it feels like it transcends those decades and it goes beyond that. And I've always really enjoyed a lot of what he's done. I've enjoyed the lyrics, the music itself, and he seems like a really fascinating and interesting guy. And I've really always loved musical biopics. I think musical biopics are really great when they're done well. I mean, I've loved Straight Outta Compton. I love Bohemian Rhapsody, La Bamba, the Buddy Holly story, The Doors, the Jerry Lee Lewis movie that Dennis Quaid starred in. I've always loved a lot of biopics, especially musical biopics. Ray as well is a really good one. Also, it's always fascinating getting a peek into these people's lives and what actually went down. I've always loved that, and I was really fascinated by what they were going to do with Rocket Man, and I really loved it. I thought that it's a very interesting and very different take on a musical biopic, because when you watch a musical biopic, it just goes from scene to scene to scene of dealing with their lives and how they made the music and the struggles and the drugs and the alcohol and the women and all that jazz. This does a lot of the similar same stuff, but what it does is it does it in a lot of like musical montage ways. It's a musical biopic, but yet it's a musical as well. It sort of does both at the same time. I think it really works well, and it has those moments of fantasy and I always thought that was really interesting to take Elton John's story and frame it in, yeah, real life but fantastical moments, which I thought was really cool. I liked just getting the peek into this guy's life and the struggles he had to deal with, whether it was this sort of record producer who, really cheated him out of love and out of money and used him, whether it's dealing with his parents who never really believed in him and never really thought he would accomplish much, and he survived all of that. Whether it's the drugs, whether it's the booze. I mean, he's had a lot of ups and he's had a hell of a lot of downs, and I thought this movie really chronicled a lot of that really, really well. And you also get interspersed in here as you get the music, and the music really frames itself in his life, in certain periods in his life, and how that certain song may have been influenced by those certain moments in his life, and how it sort of frames into the film itself. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought the performances were fantastic here. I love Taron Egerton here, man. He really gives it his all in his performance. All of the singing and everything, that's all him. He's reinterpreting the Elton John songs in his own unique way. I thought he did a great job acting in it, because it's not about exactly looking the part and being full on Elton John. It's about getting the spirit and the personality of Elton John. And I think he did a really great job with that. It always depends on your leading man or woman in these musical biopics. And for Taron Egerton, it was a tough one for Elton John, but I think he really pulled it off, dude. I really honestly did. I love the costumes and everything. There were moments in this film where I'm watching Taron Egerton and I'm thinking, like, oh my god, did they just superimpose his face on Elton John's face on top of Taron Egerton? Because he looks sometimes exactly like him. But but as long as he got the actual nature of who Elton was, and he did, it came across really well done, and he really did his homework and did a great job here, man. I thought all of the musical sequences with the dancing is fantastic here. I think the directing by Dexter Fletcher, who ended up coming in last minute to replace Bryan Singer on Bohemian Rhapsody, and did a great job finishing it all up in post production. This, he got to do a full on musical biopic and really shined in this. And I thought he really gave the story the love and respect it really deserved. I thought everybody did a great job here. And is it the full on Elton John story? No, it's not the full on Elton John story. I would have liked maybe for them to go further with sort of his friendship with Princess Diana and him doing the Lion King soundtrack and everything like that. But as my friend sort of pointed out, he was like, look, they can only do so much within a movie. They did this certain time period in his life where he really had the most struggles and difficulties, and how he survived all of that. And, I have to be honest, with a lot of these musical biopics, unfortunately, you can't get into everything with their life, and, I just have to live with that. So, overall, though, I'm really happy with this movie. I honestly really am, guys. I think it's a really dynamic, great movie here. And there's a lot of cool stuff here. You get extended musical sequences from the movie that they didn't put certain things into in the movie itself. You get 10 deleted and extended scenes, a sing-along portion where you can actually sing along to the actual stuff in the movie itself. You also get a lot of featurettes talking about certain aspects of the production. It talks about how they sort of reinvented sort of the music in their own way, and they talked about the casting of Taron Egerton. They talked about the story aspects of it, and how Elton was a producer on it, and how they took a lot of influence from him, and how he really influenced the movie itself as a producer. Very fascinating and interesting featurettes here. And what's really great about these featurettes is that it shows Elton John not wanting to come in and just do his own thing with the movie. He knew that he had to take a step back. He knew that he couldn't be, picking every little minutia apart. He knew he had to come in and be like, okay, I just want this to be true enough and to have the spirit that I want, but you guys go and do your own thing. And I really appreciated him doing that. So some really great bonus content in here as well. And this version did come with a little mini booklet here, which actually is a portion from Elton John's biography, which is supposed to come out in October. So this is a little portion of it that came with the actual Blu-ray and DVD version as well. So it has that. It's a pretty fascinating and interesting read, and Elton John is a really fascinating dude. So this was quite interesting to read, guys, and probably his biopic, his sort of in a book form would probably be actually really cool. So definitely worth something checking out in the future, possibly. But in the meantime, definitely give Rocket Man a look because I think it's actually really good. And is it the best musical biopic of all time? That's up for you guys to decide. I think it's really, really well done. And I think if you're a fan of Elton John, it's worth definitely a look, guys. So definitely give it a chance if you're a fan and if you like musical biopics. Rocket Man. And then last but certainly not least, guys, I got a Blu-ray from Raro Video, which I've never actually bought anything from Raro, so this is completely new of a company for me. And it's a Lucio Fulci title, and that is Touch of Death right here, guys. Very interesting artwork right here. They have this on the slipcover, and I'll show you the back side there. Very interesting there. Some bloody people getting killed there. And then on the inside you have this artwork as well, which I actually really like this artwork quite a bit. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. And as you guys know, if you've seen a lot of the Blu-ray pickup videos, I am on a conquest to get most, if not all, of the Lucio Fulci titles, and I have been doing a pretty damn good job. And when this got announced by Raro Video, I saw a post by Dawn of the Discs, and I'm like, okay, this I gotta buy. So I definitely pre-ordered it on Diabolic. And actually, I was supposed to get it sooner in the month, but Diabolic they actually sent me the Blu-ray of Terror Train. I opened it up, I was like, oh my god, I know this is gonna be Touch of Death, and I'm opening it up, I'm like, wait a minute, Terror Train? I already have this. And so I had to contact Diabolic, and I had to send the Blu-ray back, and they had to send me this, and I was worried I wasn't going to get the slipcover, because they were like, the slipcover is very rare, and it's only very limited, and I'm like, oh, God, please let me have it. And thankfully I did. So, big ups to Diabolic. Yeah, sometimes they make a mistake, but, they definitely do correct it. So big ups to them. And really fascinating and interesting movie, guys, because, Lucio Fulci is a very fascinating and interesting director who does a lot of very unique and very interesting movies, very interesting giallos. And this is not exactly a giallo exactly. It's about this guy who he is somebody who takes advantage of women for their money and for their wealth, and he gets their wealth and their money and he kills them, and then he ends up going on to the next person. And what's happening to him is he's kind of losing his mind a little bit. He's sort of getting these phone calls from this person that says that they know him and that they're setting him up. There's somebody who could be a similar killer who's doing the same things that he is, who's possibly setting him up to take the fall, other than the killings that he's doing as well. It's very interesting. Is he losing his mind, or is this stuff really happening on top of him actually killing these women as well, and sort of, gaining their wealth, and he's, slowly sort of maybe not all there. It's a very interesting story. I like the characters. This guy who's the killer is a real scumbag of a dude. He is somebody who is just really obsessed with killing these women, and he likes killing them. He likes sort of the death aspect of it, and likes torturing them and killing them. And the death scenes and the blood and the gore, man, are really interesting. I mean, you see people getting hacked up, you see people getting beaten, maimed, tortured, you name it, man. I mean, they do not shy away from the violence at all here, by any means. And I sort of like the comedy aspect of it as well, because it's not just a dark movie. There's comedy here of him trying to bury the bodies or hide them, and there's a whole sequence of like him like taking this body out of his home, and he's gonna sort of dump it somewhere, but he's got to put sunglasses on the body and drive in the daylight, and he's driving, and suddenly what's going on is that there's a cop who's like right there and it stops him, and he's got to pretend like it's his wife and she's drunk and everything. And it's like, so there's comedy aspects to it. I think it's funny. I think it has its comedic moments. I think it's gory and bloody and a very dark and twisted tale at times. Um, I I liked it well enough. I think this is probably one of the weaker Lucio Fulci movies. I say weaker in that I love all of his movies. I love Lucio Fulci as a director, and I love sort of how he really just goes for it. And he goes for the violence, and he goes for, telling these twisted tales, and with this sort of flair that only Lucio Fulci can really do. I like him as a director. I like his dynamic sort of qualities. And honestly, it's interesting because him as a director, I think there's a lot of people who say that he just hates women for the sake of hating women. I don't think that. I think that he definitely he props up really strong women when he needs to prop up strong women. But I think he always tells these cautionary tales of these people taking advantage of women, and the idea of these women needing to stand up and these women needing to make their voice heard, and how men are not to be trusted a lot of times. I think there's I think you can take it one way with Lucio Fulci, and then you can take it another way. I've always really liked Lucio Fulci's tales, and I've always liked him as a filmmaker. And I think that even the lesser known ones, or even the lesser movies of his sort of oeuvre, I guess, are still really fascinating. And I really like this. And it's a time in his career where he's not in great health anymore, and he's sort of maybe losing his edge as a director. Other better directors are coming to the forefront. But I still think even his lesser movies are still really great, guys. I honestly do. And Raro Video, I've never bought anything from him again, but I thought it was a really good package. I like the slipcover. You only get one special feature here, is when Lucio Fulci broke the mirror, and it's only 20 minutes or so long, and it talks about, like, it has certain directors and actors who have worked with Fulci talking about him as a personality, talking about his love-hate relationship with women, and how sometimes he was difficult to deal with and how other times he was great to deal with, and talking about his legacy as a filmmaker. Really fascinating stuff here. And I've always really loved Fulci's movies. You guys know that from the Blu-ray pickup videos. I think he's a great filmmaker. And even the lesser titles that he does, I still think he's a really great filmmaker that deserves a lot of recognition. And I hope you guys go back to a lot of his films and check them out, because he really is fascinating, and he's one hell of a great Italian filmmaker. I think he's honestly my favorite, guys. Definitely let me know what you think of Fulci, and this is a great movie. Definitely worth checking out, guys. Definitely give it a look. Touch of Death. Alright, everybody, that'll do it for the Blu-ray pickup video for August of 2019. And as you can see, guys, again, man, I thought there was some really great variety and selection for the month. Some really cool stuff that I picked up. I was really happy with the stuff that I got. I thought August has some really great releases from the independent studios, and some great major new releases as well. Some really plentiful titles out there, so I was really happy with what I got. Definitely let me know what you guys picked up for the month of August. I am definitely interested to find out what you guys got. And now we are on to September, and oh baby, we're heading towards October, which is one of my favorite months of the year. And September, what's great about September is that September always has some really great releases that are sort of great sort of anticipation for October. So, you get a lot of really great new releases that are coming out from the summertime. Some really cool horror titles that are coming out, which are sort of like the anticipation of what October is going to bring. On top of that, 4K upgrades, some really cool stuff from these independent labels as well. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff for September, guys. There honestly will. I'm getting a lot of really great stuff, so I cannot wait to show you what I pick up for September. But that'll be in the next pickup, guys. So definitely look forward to that. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. And again, let me know what you guys picked up for August and what you are anticipating for September. I am definitely interested to find out for sure. And if you like what I do, if you like the Blu-ray pickup videos, the Tuesday DVD and Blu-ray out and about videos, the theatrical movie reviews, and much more content that's on the channel, hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank my subscribers and everybody who watches the videos. You guys take time out of your daily lives to watch what I do, to comment, and even if you don't comment, the fact that you just watch it alone and are interested in what I have to say really means a lot to me. So I appreciate each and every one of you so much. So thank you for taking time out of your daily lives to have me talk about movies and physical media. I appreciate it, guys. I really honestly do. And I love hearing you guys talk about it. And I love the love that you give me. And I hope that you appreciate the love I give right back as well. So if you like how I talk about movies and how I talk about physical media, definitely hit subscribe. And keep up to date with Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. FilmFan108. Keep up to date with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. Alright guys, I will see you back next month for a brand new Blu-ray pickups video. Take care everybody, happy hunting, and enjoy movies.